Genesis chapter 42. When Jacob learned that grain rations were available in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you keep gaping at one another? I hear," he went on, "that rations of grain are available in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us, that we may stay alive rather than die of hunger." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy an emergency supply of grain from Egypt. It was only Joseph's full brother Benjamin that Jacob did not send with the rest, for he thought some disaster might befall him. Thus, since there was famine in the land of Canaan, also the sons of Israel were among those who came to procure rations. It was Joseph, as governor of the country, who dispensed the rations to all the people. When Joseph's brothers came and knelt down before him with their faces to the ground, he recognized them as soon as he saw them. But he concealed his own identity from them and spoke sternly to them. "Where do you come from?" he asked them. They answered, "From the land of Canaan to procure food." When Joseph recognized his brothers, although they did not recognize him, he was reminded of the dreams he had about them. He said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land." "No, my lord," they replied. "On the contrary, your servants have come to procure food. All of us are sons of the same man. We are honest men. Your servants have never been spies." But he answered them, "Not so. You have come to see the nakedness of the land." "We, your servants," they said, "we were 12 brothers, sons of a certain man in Canaan, but the youngest one is at present with our father, and the other one is gone." "It is just as I said," Joseph persisted. "You are spies. This is how you shall be tested. Unless your youngest brother comes here, I swear by the life of Pharaoh that you shall not live here. So send one of your number to get your brother, while the rest of you stay here under arrest. Thus shall your words be tested for their truth. If they are untrue, as Pharaoh lives, you are spies." With that, he locked them up in the guard house for 3 days. On the third day, Joseph said to them, "Do this, and you shall live, for I am a God-fearing man. If you have been honest, only one of your brothers need to confined in this prison, while the rest of you may go and take home provisions for your starving families. But you must come back to me with your youngest brother. Your words will thus be verified, and you will not die." To this they agreed. To one another, however, they said, "Alas, we were being punished because of our brother. We saw the anguish of his heart when he pleaded with us, yet we paid no heed. That is why this anguish has now come upon us. Didn't I tell you?" broke in Reuben. "Not to do wrong to the boy, but you wouldn't listen. Now comes the reckoning for his blood." They did not know, of course, that Joseph understood what they said, since he spoke with them through an interpreter. But turning away from them, he wept. When he was able to speak to them again, he had Simeon taken from them and bound before their eyes. Then Joseph gave orders to have their containers filled with grain, their money replaced in each one sack, and provisions given them for their journey. After this had been done for them, they loaded their donkeys with the rations and departed. At the night encampment, when one of them opened his bag to give his donkey some fodder, he was surprised to see his money in the mouth of his bag. "My money has been returned," He cried out to his brothers, "Here it is in my bag." At that their hearts sank. Trembling, they asked one another, "What is this that God has done to us?" When they got back to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan, they told him all that had happened to them. "The man who is Lord of the country," they said, "spoke to us sternly and put us in custody as if we were spying on the land. But we said to him, 'We are honest men. We have never been spies.' There were 12 of us, brothers, son of the same father, but one is gone, and the youngest one is at present with our father in the land of Canaan." Then the man who is Lord of the country said to us, "This is how I shall know if you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers with me while the rest of you go home with rations for your starving families. When you come back to me with your youngest brother, and I know that you are honest men and not spies, I will restore your brother to you, and you may move about freely in the land." When they were emptying their sacks, there in each one's sacks was his money bag. At the sight of their money bags, they and their father were dismayed. Their father Jacob said to them, "Must you make me childless? Joseph is gone and Simeon is gone, and now you will take away Benjamin. Why must such things always happen to me?" Then Reuben told his father, "Put him in my care, and I will bring him back to you. You may kill my own 2 sons if I do not return him to you." But Jacob replied, "My son shall not go down with you. Now that his full brother is dead, he is the only one left. If some disaster should befall him on the journey you must make, you will send my white head down to the netherworld in grief." Chapter 43. Now the famine in the land grew more severe. So when they had used up all the rations they had brought from Egypt, their father said to them, "Go back and procure us a little more food." But Judah replied, "The man strictly warned us, 'You shall not appear in my presence unless your brother is with you.' If you are willing to let our brother go with us, we will go down to procure food for you. But if you are not willing, we will not go down, because the man told us, 'You shall not appear in my presence unless your brother is with you.'" Israel demanded, "Why did you bring this trouble on me by telling the man that you had another brother?" They answered, "The man kept asking about ourselves and our family. 'Is your father still living? Do you have another brother?' We had to answer his questions. How could we know that he will say, 'Bring your brother down here'?" Then Judah, his father, Israel, "Let the boy go with me, that we may be off and on our way if you and we and our children are to keep from starving to death. I myself will stand surety for him. You can hold me responsible for him. If I fail to bring him back to set him in your presence, you can hold it against me forever." Had we not dallied, we could have been there and back twice by now. Their father Israel then told them, If it must be so, then do this. Put some of the land's best products in your baggage and take them down to the man as gifts, some balm and honey, gum and raisin, and pistachios and almonds. Also, take extra money along, for you must return the amount that was put back in your mouths of your bags. It may have been a mistake. Take your brother too and be off on your way back to the man. May God Almighty dispose the man to be merciful toward you, so that he may let your other brother go, as well as Benjamin. As for me, if I am to suffer bereavement, I shall suffer it. So the men got the gifts, took double the amount of money with them, and accompanied by Benjamin, were off on their way down to Egypt to present themselves to Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he told his head steward, "Take these men into the house and have an animal slaughtered, prepared, for they are to dine with me at noon." Doing as Joseph had ordered, the steward conducted the men to Joseph's house. But on being led to his house, they became apprehensive. It must be, they thought, on account of the money put back in our bags the first time that we are taken inside. They want to use it as a pretext to attack us and take our donkeys and seize us as slaves. So they went up to Joseph's head steward and talked to him at the entrance of the house. "If you please, sir," they said, "we came down here once before to procure food, but when we arrived at the night's encampment and opened our bags, there was each man's money in the mouth of his bag. Our money is in the full amount. We have now brought it back. We have brought other money to procure food with. We do not know who put the first money in our bags." "Be at ease," he replied. "You have no need to fear. Your God and the God of your father must have put treasures in your bags for you. As for your money, I received it." With that, he led Simeon out to them. The steward then brought the men inside Joseph's house. He gave them water to bathe their feet and got fodder for their donkeys. Then they set out their gifts to await Joseph's arrival at noon, for they had heard that they were to dine there. When Joseph came home, they presented him with the gifts they had brought inside, while they bowed down before him to the ground. After inquiring how they were, he asked them, "And how is your aged father, of whom you spoke? Is he still in good health? Your servant, our father, is thriving and still in good health," they said, as they bowed respectfully. When Joseph's eye fell on his full brother Benjamin, he asked, "Is this your youngest brother of whom you told me?" Then he said to him, "May God be gracious to you, my boy." With that, Joseph had to hurry out, for he was so overcome with affections for his brother that he was on the verge of tears. He went into a private room and wept there. After washing his face, he reappeared, and now in control of himself, gave the order, "Serve the meal." It was served separately to him, to the brothers, and to the Egyptians who partook of his board. Egyptians may not eat with Hebrews, that is abhorrent to them. When they were seated by his directions, according to their age, from the oldest to the youngest, they looked at one another in amazement. And as portions were brought to them from Joseph's table, Benjamin's portion was 5 times as large as anyone else. So they drank freely and made merry with them. The word of the Lord.